Before we turn things over to the audience for some questions, I've got our quick lightning round questions. At Goodshuffle, we're trying to understand how we can better serve the industry, how we can bring more joy to the business of events. It's not just something that we literally print on t-shirts or hang on our walls in the office. We want to make y'all's life better and bring more joy where we can. So there's a handful of questions I'd like to ask. The answers to these questions can be as brief or as explicit as you would like. For example, the first question is, what is the number one thing you need for your business? And you could say, I need money, or I need space, or I need better guys, or whatever. All right, so question the first. And we'll go down a little, we'll do a snake draft, the most serpentine version of a snake draft.
Do a snake draft for my note-taking?
Fine, Jake. You're not bringing much joy to my life. No, I love you, Jake. All right, so we'll do the standard way. All right, so starting at the top here, Mike, what is the number one thing you need for your business?
More work.
More work.
Good employees.
Great.
Driven people.
Great.
More time.
Great. And coming back to the top, what is the number one thing you want for your business?
More money. Higher quality jobs.
Legacy I could pass on to my kids.
Good one.
More consistency throughout the year.
Very nice. What is your biggest fear for your business?
Without recession-proof, boys. Yeah, the economy.
Also the economy.
4 plus 4.
Very good. All right. Across the board. Great. What do you deeply desire for your business?
What I desire. Someone come buys me out in a couple of years from now. Move on. Damn.
I was waiting till later.
Guess I would desire to build a place that people are proud to be a part of.
Yeah, something that runs in the way it runs in my head that actually exists. We're getting there.
I would like to build something that doesn't need me and Mike every minute of every day. So we're trying to take ourselves out of the business as much as possible.
100%.
Gotcha. And to get to some of those desires, what have you tried in the past?
What I tried in the past for someone to buy me? No, I'm not ready to get sold yet, but I was saying that's my ultimate goal down the road. I've been approached, but I haven't done it yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
I've built a place where I think a lot of people can come to and talk to me and talk to my staff, and we've become a big family. And I think that if we can continue that, we'll just be even better suited for the future.
Yeah, I think for me, I have a core group of people that they are driven and they needed to believe in us. And I put my money where my mouth is, bought the equipment they needed, bought the things that they asked for, made sure they were heard. So now I'm waiting to see that dividend back.
I'm going to look into camera for this one. To get more time, we tried this great thing called Goodshuffle.
Shuffle good, my friend.
That's for you. You can pay me later.
That's it. We got the footage. Go. Get out of here. We got it. Yep. Okay. To get to some of these like goals and desires, the things that you've tried, what have you hated the most?
When we first started, I hated the grind.
I love the grind. But I think I hated the unknown in the sense that when I came into doing this, I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't like born into a tent family. It's kind of like the craziest business to get into. And I decided to be a psychopath, and the unknown was the part that I hated. But now I love it.
For me, it's just the more people you hire, the more personalities you have, and having the redundancy of dealing with issues, with people, and things like that. I'm like, we're just here to make money. Will you focus on the money part? That's my point. I hate that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And then I would also add having to train or retrain on certain things.
Yes.
I would love to figure out a way if there was, the help section is great, but if there was some sort of like training program within Goodshuffle to bring on new salespeople or new drivers.
Like an onboarding thing.
An
would be
onboarding
great,
where maybe this is what we're doing now is we're getting into some of this new stuff, but where we didn't have to. I'm going through this one-on-one process with all my warehouse guys is great, but it would be great like next year if I bring on some new employees that I don't have to go personally from scratch. I can say, hey, sign up for this. Here's a 2-hour course that's going to take you through. When you're done, we'll test you. Something like that would be great.
That is great feedback. Yeah. Cool. Thank you all for those amazingly candid responses. Appreciate the insights, and we'll, of course, continue to use this to make y'all's life better. I would love to turn things over to the audience and hear if there are any burning questions in these last 5 or so minutes. Question back?
How do you label all of your linens? Do you have any sort of linens up or like tags that's 4-foot spandex, 98 brown? So when you go and you pick something up, you're like, oh, I know what it is. Done. Put it away.
The linen company brings them back. They're all pre-packed in bags prior to coming back to our warehouse. But on each linen on its side, there are tags on the inside. Okay. So they're pretty good. The linen company usually takes care of that for us.
So you don't get them custom made with your logo? Or
On the tag?
Yeah.
Do we have a logo? I think we have a logo on the tag.
Mike, we're using stickers still?
Yeah, we saran wrap and then we just color code stickers. So for instance, a 108 will be yellow, 120 will be blue. So we have everything stacked, anyone can walk over there and go, like a customer walks in, you need 20, 120s, it's straight stacked.
What I'm saying is actually on the linen itself.
On the actual linen from the manufacturer, there's the size, but we usually don't know. And again, with the cleaning service that we're using, it'll come back and it's labeled, like they're in the bag, let's say 500.
So they already know what.
Yep.
We're getting-
We're trying to switch too, you know, how we handle linen. It's gonna be on hangers, it's gonna be pressed.
Yeah, that's what I'm
The
doing.
higher clientele you get, you know, it changes from the old saran wrap and sweat.
Yeah, we just started using iron-on labels. We got custom made with logo and what they are, and then we just iron them on and done. So that way when I pick up a linen, I say, oh, 4-foot spandex has my logo on it, done. So if I'm doing an event with somebody else, I'm not taking their linens.
Yeah, the barcodes that we have, there's a company down in Maryland, that's out of DC, that started printing the barcodes onto those iron-on patches and ironing those onto their tablecloths and stuff, because it has the attributes of the size and color, and also your team can scan it, and the iron-ons obviously aren't gonna get locked up or anything like that. So that was really cool to see as well.
It's a good idea.
Any other questions for our amazing panel?
How do you handle like gas? Your employees have gas cards or and also tracking for the vehicles?
Yeah, so we use Motive. It's for tracking the vehicles, GPS. We have a company called Motive. So they have front and rear facing cameras, GPS tracking. It yells at the drivers if they're on their phone. It gives me speeding reports, hard brake reports. I actually learned about it from Mike and Ben. And I like it. We put it in all our trucks, pickup trucks. So that helps there. It actually also tells us if the check engine light's on, because a driver might forget or just not want to say anything. It reads the computer, tells me when I need an oil change based on how many miles once we put it in. So that system is really complex. We are fortunate that we are across the street from Hub Truck Rental. So we have a lease through them. And when you have a lease through Hub, they let you service all of their vehicles at Hub. And I can fill up all my trucks with gas there. So I don't have to have my guys BSing around at a gas station for a half hour. They're just there. The guy checks the truck, they fill it up, they top off any fluids, and then I get the bill at the end of the month for all the gas, and it's pretty easy to reconcile because they put the different truck numbers next to what they're getting filled up with.
Yeah, for us, we have also a similar trucking. It's called ClearPath, and all of our trucks have GPS, rear and front facing. And all of our people all do have credit cards through the company, through American Express, and I do monthly reports with all of them. So we sit down, I go through everything, we track, the girl in the office checks, okay, there is an event that day, and we do that. I think for the most part, no one's stealing, but this is a double check to make sure.
We use a company called Coast with gas cards. A gas card in every truck, and when they want to fill up gas, they have to text. I have to go into Coast and say which phone numbers are allowed to use it, right? So that they have to text, I think, the mileage and the license plate, so there's a check. Yes, it's possible they could write down the license plate and then go use it with, the card would have to come out of the truck, and you can see if the spending, and it also breaks down the spending per person. So you can.
like Coast, do you like it? Because we just.
Yeah, I like it. It's great. The one thing I do know is that I've been considering changing, I think Motive, which we also use.
They have a gas card.
They have a gas card too. So I've been considering going there because I don't know enough yet, but I would imagine there's some sort of synergy between the gas card and them tracking the mileage. So that's what I'm looking into now. So I don't know enough to recommend it yet, but maybe.
I have just one question.
Yeah.
What would you say is your best marketing tactic or vertical that you use to get you to this point?
We do a lot of content creation. Dylan actually here is my marketing director.
Okay.
So we do a massive amount of content creation. I would say doing marketing is the biggest. You're throwing it into the wind and you're hoping something good to get back. We probably spent about $80,000 last year, and just we'll see what happens, and it's come back to us tenfold. So it's hard doing that at first, but it definitely can pay the dividend. It's not about necessarily about, like, everyone here is, if you do tents, you all have a 20 by 20 tent. Who's setting the tent up? Like, how are they doing? It's creating the personalities of your company, and people can start recognizing that. It does go a long way.
Are you doing tents?
Yeah.
So buy a drone
Yeah.
and then take it out as much as you can. And if you can't go, teach a couple of the drivers to do it. You trust them with the drone. And then we've done some paid Instagram ads, which we found to be really good. And then trying to make as much or as many industry connections as possible in terms of planners and venues.
The amount of work you can get from the people that do the exact same thing as you is crazy.
Yeah.
And everybody, I think your brain teaches you the opposite. Everybody's your competitor. It's so not true. And most of my work comes from people that do exactly what I do.
True. Yeah, Nick and myself and Justin were on the phone
Yeah.
a lot and refer jobs or
Yeah.
sub-rent from each other all the time.
Nick and I have trucks at our warehouses every week, every single week. Justin, we work together all the time. Yeah.
Nice. So I want to give a quick round of applause for our amazing speakers. Thank you all. We are coming up on time for the tours. I've got one final ask before we close, but before I get there, the main thing I always like to shout out, especially as we get to meet face to face or could put faces to name, especially if we're working a lot virtually. This came up on our last warehouse tours. We were on the bus ride back, and the person was like, yeah, I was doing a bulk pricing update of my inventory, but it's taken me forever to do it one by one. I'm like, we can help with that. Like, we can do a CSV upload with the new pricing. He's like, yeah, but I wanted it rounded up to the nearest dollar, and I didn't want it to do this and that. I'm like, we have the formula to help with that. And he said, I didn't know you could do that. And we said, you didn't ask. So when you have questions or you have these pain points or these challenges, or there was a lot of great insights that came up of automated texting or these parts of your workflow that are challenging, even within the platform. If you're currently using Goodshuffle, please keep speaking up. Let us know what we can do to make your lives easier. You can let us know here. You can let Jake know. You can let anyone here from the Goodshuffle team know. Our support team in the chat. Yes, there will be an AI agent that'll try to help you first, but there'll always be human eyes on it. As soon as you message in, there's always someone who sees that message coming in. So that way, if the chatbot doesn't get the ball through the hoop, we'll be able to help. So thank you again for your time and for being a part of today. This was one of my favorite events that we've done.
Oh, stop it.
My
You mean
final
it,
act-
Colin? Do you mean it?
I do. I would say I loved the tour through the warehouse. Marcus did an amazing job of guiding us through. I would say the thing that I'm going to take away from that is you did such an amazing job of highlighting the team and the people and the other folks that are involved. That was so meaningful, and that is now like a part of the warehouse tour. I'm going to call it the Marcus twist or something like that. Thank you again for being a part of today. We'll see you next time.
Word of